Okay guys, so this is an interesting video because this is kind of the first discussion video I've had in a long time. It's just going to be me talking through this, but I thought it would be kind of insightful for a cast member from Bionicle Revolution to do this video. As some of you know, Bionicle Revolution was a CGI animated film by Sam Fenna, or as he just goes by Fenna. It was going to be a sort of, I guess you could say, sequel to the original Bionicle CGI films from G1, and he was advertising that way, and I was a cast member and I played Biohero. So before I get into this video, I don't want it to seem like selfish of me to do this, but I think it's important that you guys kind of know who the cast kind of was, because that'll help you sort of see the reason I'm talking about what I am going to talk about in this video. So before I really get into like how I feel about the cancellation, I'm going to actually talk about a few different things about the film. Just so that you guys can kind of get a different perspective of it. If any of this seems selfish to you guys, I really apologize. I'm not trying to come off that way. I'm just trying to kind of fully explain this to you guys in the most respectful way that I can. So I apologize if anything I say comes off as selfish or about me and the cast. It's just so that maybe I can give you guys a different perspective. So I'm going to go through kind of who I am and who some of the other cast members are. As some of you know, some of you might not know, some of you might be clicking on this video because you're interested in finding out more about Bionicle Revolution. I'm William Furno, under William Furno Studios channel. I'm a biotuber, kind of. I mostly did Hero Factory a while ago, but then I switched over to Bionicle, did more Bionicle content. I make my own films, and I did reviews a while back, and I do a lot of different stuff with construction, I'll just tell you that. And I have this mock here. Now this is Biohero. As some of you know, he was going to be included in Revolution. And, you know, he's kind of a self-mock. He's kind of not. I don't know. He's just my main character. So when people ask who my self-mock is, I reply with Biohero. I also have Jake here. This is Jake, the Potato Lord. As some of you know, he was also cameoed in Randy 2, my film Randy the Red Roxy Rebellion. And his channel, this is kind of his self-mock that I built here. I don't have I don't have Sardix or Tech. I don't have their mocks with me, but they were also going to be included in this film. So that's a little bit kind of about me and this Biohero thing. He's just a mock that I made when I was young. I get that some of you think the name Biohero is mediocre at best. I don't know. I never changed it, and I apologize if it came off as you just can't take it seriously. I completely understand. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about like kind of how I got the part a couple years back. So 2 years ago, Sam, or Failsafe as he was going by, used to be a Bionicle channel like years ago, like a stop motion channel, made pretty good stop motions. Apparently he was friends, or he hadn't been in like calls or had known Sardix Films, as you know, Sardix. And Sardix has been my friend for a while, and a couple years ago Sardix contacted me and he said, hey, I don't know if you ever knew this guy, but Failsafe is back and he wants to make a CGI film for us, and he wants to get some other mocks in there. So at first I was like, wow, this sounds really, really cool. I would love to be part of an animated movie because, you know, honestly, who wouldn't? It's a super cool thing to be a part of. So he said that he was accepting mocks, so I sent him in a picture of this guy. And Failsafe kind of suspiciously responds with like something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he's like, you're in, as one of the 4 main protagonists. Now this is the first thing that took me by surprise because, you know, I didn't really know what the Bionicle film was going to be about, but the fact that he just right off the bat accepted this self-mock to be in his movie as a main character kind of really surprised me, considering at the time, I don't know, not many people knew at all who Biohero was. Not many people still do, to be honest. I don't take that personally, but it's true, like no one really knew who these guys were. No one really knew. Not a lot of people knew who Tectonic was. I mean, he's pretty big, and he still is pretty big, but I think on a larger scale of everyone in the Bionicle community, I can't say a lot of people knew who he was, or Jake the Potato Lord, or Sardix Films. We weren't the biggest guys out there, so it's not like a lot of people knew who we were, and so he just kind of cast us with these self-mocks. And you know what? At the time, it really didn't matter to me, because I was seeing this guy, my character, under animation, and that's all I could think about. And I'll get to kind of an apology at the end of the video, but I think most people would feel that way. Most people who are kind of in my age group, or I guess younger at the time, you know, so that solidifies even more. I mean, it was really cool. So basically what I'm trying to say is, when he cast me, I was already friends with most of these guys that were in the cast, and all of the guys that were in the cast were not playing Toa or actual characters, they were playing their own self-mocks. Now I know this sounds terrible, like, if Fena or Failsafe would have released this information, I know this film probably would have gotten shut down right there. I didn't know that back then, because I wasn't yet under the impression really that this was supposed to be a Bionicle 5. You know, I wasn't really under the impression that he was heavily advertising it this way. So I was just sitting back like, alright, I'll just do lines for my character for you, I'll do them best I can, it's gonna be a super cool fan project, it's gonna be awesome. So I just wasn't really thinking that much about it, because I didn't have a lot to do with the actual production. I was just kind of there, looking at my character, doing the lines as he sent them to me. I didn't even actually read all of the scenes. Like, I didn't read everything that was in the scene that I was in. I skimmed it and I did all of my lines, because I guess I just didn't realize how serious this project was, how much it meant to people, because, you know, it just, I don't get a lot of that feedback being a cast member in which my character wasn't even really being advertised. He was just there. People didn't know who he was. You know, no one was saying, you know, this is BioHero, this is Tech, this is Jake, this is Sardix. No one was really saying that stuff. Sam wasn't really advertising it like that. All he said was, this is going to be the best effing Bionicle film ever. And he said, or he released all this footage with little to no expositional context of who these characters really were. He had a community on Google Plus where he posted some of this stuff, but obviously no one really likes Google Plus all that much, so it didn't get a lot of attention. So that's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, right off the bat, this film did not have a strong foundation. And I will get to a kind of I will issue an apology at the end of the video on behalf of me and the other cast members and Sam and all that. But being, at the time, I was like 14. At that time, guys, you just have to understand, like, I know it's hard to understand, but it was just, I wasn't thinking all that much about how much this film would actually mean to people, so I didn't take a stand really. And not to mention that Sam, this is kind of the next topic I'm going to talk about, his director sort of vibe that he gave off. So a couple funny stories here. As some of you know, a biotuber by the name of Joshi released a 3-part series about biotubers, and one of them was about Sam, and he totally ripped him apart. I'll link the video in the description. It's pretty funny. I'll even include a clip of what he says about BioHero.
Speaking of Furno, we don't need Toa in this movie, because we have this. This is a character belonging to the biotuber William Furno, and his name is, wait for it, you're gonna love it, BioHero. Such an imaginative name, isn't it?
It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty real. I would say that maybe it's pretty harsh. I'm not a huge fan of like rants or, you know, rage videos on the internet. I feel like it just puts people down. But a lot of the stuff he said was pretty true about Sam and who he kind of was as a person. Maybe I wouldn't obviously restate it the way he did, but most of it was pretty spot on. So, for example, I was on a call one day with Jake, Sardix, Tech, and Suddenly Oranges, as you know, the infamous director of Reviving Bionicle. We were actually on an interview with him, I believe. And Sam was also in the call just because he was kind of close to us at the time, because he was working on Revolution so much that we just kind of bombarded him with like, hey, send me a picture of my self-mock animated. So that's kind of why Sam was there, I think. So we were on an interview with Suddenly Oranges, talking to him about Reviving Bionicle and all that stuff. And I think at some point, I don't know if we kicked Sam out, but we kind of ended the call, and, well, Sam left, and we kept talking. And Sam is just very forceful on his views. As most of you probably know, he is a proud atheist. Now, look, I don't have a problem with you sharing, you know, what religion you are or lack thereof on the internet. I can't tell people that they shouldn't share certain information. There's just certain stuff that you shouldn't do with that information, like force it on other people. Because as you can see, I'm wearing a cross, so I have no trouble saying that I'm Christian. However, when you're in a call with someone who you're just trying to talk about Bionicle with, and they continue to drop their atheism bombs on you, it's not the most comfortable feeling in the world. Now, I have nothing against atheists. I have nothing against any other religions. I'm not going to force my religion on you, so I don't expect you to force yours on me. And Sam came off that way a lot. He was also just rambling a lot during the interview. He just kind of started talking about some really edgy, dark stuff. I don't remember exactly what it was. All I know is Sam left the call, and we were all laughing about it, because we were like, who is... This guy is kind of crazy. To be honest, he's very intense, as you've probably seen in some of his update videos. So yeah, back to it. I'm just kind of talking about how steadily my hope in the film decreased as I kind of got to know Sam more as he was a director, and I kind of got to know more about the film. So I just talked about how Sam was kind of intense, and he wasn't exactly very considerate either. I remember asking him once, do you need any backstory for my mocks, you know? And he said, no, I don't need any backstory. And that was one of the first times I was like, okay, this is weird. Because, you know, when you're including a self-mock in something, and I already know that that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, I've already learned that I guess it wasn't good at all that right off the bat he started casting self-mocks into this. But, you know, the least he could have done is tried to understand our self-mocks more, so that when he actually wrote them into the script, they weren't just like mindless, meaningless, blank characters, you know, which is what they kind of were if you've started reading the script at all. I did not leak it. I might have leaked it, maybe. But if you started reading it, you might have noticed that, like, Biohero and Jake, and you can make fun of them really easily because they don't really have any substance to them. And so that was kind of the first problem with me, but the thing is, I didn't have the guts to tell him all this, because he probably would have dropped an atheism bomb on me, or told me that swearing is fun for him, or said, actually what he did actually reply, when I said, do you need any, backstory or extra lore to add, or extra substance to add, he said, nope, don't worry about it, this is going to be the best effing Bionicle movie of all time, which kind of demonstrated or illustrated his egotistical position that his mind was in. I don't know if he's still like this, but, going into a film, as a director, you want to be considerate of the cast's views, and you want to make sure that the cast is happy to be there, and you want to make sure that each character, even if it's a small character, has a part that the cast member would enjoy playing. And about halfway through the production, I stopped enjoying getting emails from him about lines, because I just didn't feel like he was doing justice to my character. I get that that sounds selfish, because this movie is supposed to be for all Bionicle fans, not just these 4 guys who had some self-mocks they loved. But at the time, again, I wasn't really thinking about that. And I was just like, I did the lines, but I just started to not feel it anymore. So now we get to the actual cancellation of the film, which was a interesting thing. Like last week or a week and a half ago, I saw an Instagram post by one of the cast members that Fenna had contacted them and said, hey, it's canceled. And that was extreme. I was so angered because, one, he didn't come to the cast first and say, hey guys, I'm issuing this formal cancellation of the film that you all also worked on. And he didn't post a video or anything. He actually was going to, but apparently because everyone was so angry at him for what he did in the first place, he chickened out, and now he just removed everything. He's not going to post anything. So that was a problem. That made me really angry. I feel like if he would have issued more of a formal apology or a formal cancellation, he doesn't really have to apologize for it, because most of us are pretty happy it's over, but it would have been nice to get some sort of private message saying, hey, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to cancel this film, here's why. Instead, I found out through another cast member, and when I texted him, I said, Sam, this was a really dumb move. This was, everyone was pretty excited for this film, and again, even a week and a half ago, I wasn't, aware of how bad this film would have been if it would have come out. But the point is, I was angry. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys here, because I don't want to lie about myself, or I feel like either Sam's going to watch this video and call me out on it, or someone else will. I was super mad, and I said some things that were pretty selfish. I said, Sam, this meant a lot to me, I really wanted you to make this film, stuff like that. And that mostly just because I was angry. But it was also because I didn't really understand why after 2 years of hard work he would just cancel it, even if he thought it was bad. because I know that I've worked hard on stuff before and I still released it, even if it ended up being bad. But that's not the point. Point is, I was texting him, and I was at fault here too because of what he said back. So I'm not going to act like Fenna is the total dip here. But I said some things, and he replied back. What he wants to do is he wants to move on, and he wants to work on his own stuff. And that is understandable. It's a reasonable explanation. But I don't think that makes up for his behavior during the actual production of the film. His lack of understanding of what he was doing. And this is where my apology comes in. Because, look, being a cast member of this film was really great at first. Because I could see this guy, Biohero, in animation. And I know a lot of you guys probably, I hope you guys don't hate me. But, I accepted this role because I thought, of course, as a smaller YouTuber, it would be cool to be part of an animated film because then maybe people would see this and be like, okay, I'm going to go try watching these videos now. And I know it sounds selfish, but it's true. It's honestly what most of you would think if you were in this position, and it's what I thought. What I'm trying to say is I apologize for even accepting this role because I love the Bionicle community. It's been my childhood, the Hero 2 community as well, even though that's kind of dead now. Both of them are pretty much dead, but Bionicle and Hero Factory, main points of my childhood. And of course I accept the fact that I don't know a lot about Generation 1 because I didn't grow up with it. I accepted this role not knowing what it would lead to because I wasn't really thinking about it that much. And that's just, I know I've said that a lot this video, but that's true. I just wasn't really thinking about, was the writing of this movie really good, or would people just accept the CGI even if it was bad and move on? But that is not true. On the behalf of me, the cast members, and Sam, I don't know if they would say the same, but I'm just going to say this, not for them, but kind of because I'm part of this group now, I kind of want to say it to you. I apologize for the disappointment that this film has turned out to be. Not only was it canceled, but the script was released, definitely not because of me, and it was read by Three Virtues podcast, and it was read by a ton of people, and people just started tearing it apart and tearing the characters apart. And I want to apologize instead of arguing with you guys, because I know that's stupid, because reading the script, this movie is better off not being released. It's a blessing that Bionicle Revolution was canceled, because if it would have been released, even though the script was, most of it was released, it would have been just a disservice to the Bionicle community. It would have been a disgrace to the story of Bionicle. I know that a lot of you are very passionate about the Bionicle lore, and so again, I just apologize for doing this to you guys, or being a part of what happened to you guys. All of us hyped it up over the past couple years, and it turned out to be good comedy material, good satire, and I just apologize that it wasn't what you guys wanted it to be. I didn't have a lot of say in the writing. I'm not going to act like I was part of the writing process. I'm not going to apologize on the behalf of that, but I feel like the cast and we could have done more to tell Sam about Bionicle and what it really was, because he had been absent from the community for a while. His passion obviously wasn't really there by the end of production, and I feel like I, as a cast member, could have just said, or even right off the bat, if I was really thinking about it, I could have said, hey man, I don't accept, because I don't think putting this character in what is supposed to be a sequel to Gen 1's actual canon story, I don't think putting this character in there is a good idea. I don't think putting anyone's custom character in there is a good idea. I know what I should have said. I should have said, you should make a Bionicle film with the actual Toa, with the actual characters. If that's what you're going to do, then you should make it so that it's really respectful of what Bionicle was. This, as much as I love this guy, as much as I love writing this guy, as much as I love including him in other people's work, this guy is not Bionicle Gen 1. This guy's not what you wanted to see, and I get that, and I know that. But I hope you don't dislike the cast members and me because of these characters. These characters are what we built with that childhood that we were given. And it was really cool to see them animated. But now we all realize that we have done an incredible disservice to the Bionicle community by, encouraging these characters in something that was supposed to be taken a lot more seriously. And on that front, I lastly say that I apologize for that. Now the truth is, you know, I won't touch on this a lot because it's going to be probably the most selfish part of the whole discussion here. BioHero, Jake, Tech, Sardix, all those guys, they mean a lot to us as creators. So I would just hope that you guys wouldn't, you know, completely disown all those characters from the possibilities of watching any of our content. I just want to let you guys know that, you know, all the content that's out there, you know, whether it's good quality or bad quality, whether it's good voice actors, bad voice actors, whether it's well written or not, none of us are trying to sell our content as official. A couple years ago, I used to make my trailers, I used to put the huge, you know, official sign next to them, like in all caps, and then someone called me out on it. They're like, hey, this isn't actually official, I just did it because it looked cool. And, you know, I know that sounds terrible coming from me, but I changed it over the past year. I said, hey, instead of official, I'll just put full trailer, because that's true, it's a full trailer. It's not official. So I want to let you guys know that none of us as the cast members are advertising our own stuff as official. We know that we are just fan fiction sort of writers, fan filmmakers, and we just want you guys to know, even if they haven't said it yet, I'm sure that they would agree with me that we do apologize for how our characters were, you know, written into this whole CGI thing, and that we would hope that you wouldn't dislike us because of our involvement in the film. We try to be really good guys if we can. So that's kind of what I'm going to say on the behalf of the cast. Again, if they text me later and they say, hey, I wouldn't actually say that, remove the video, then that's cool. I'll probably remove the video. But I am pretty sure, because from what I know, we're all pretty reasonable guys, we get along pretty well, that our content, we would not like to have our content put down because of our characters being included in this travesty that is Bionicle Revolution. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say. I would just like to let you guys know that if you have any questions about the production of the film, you can put them in the comments below. I will try my best to notify the cast that I made this video, that I'm releasing it, and that they can also help answer questions. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I apologize for the tragedy that is Bionicle Revolution, and I apologize to Fenna for being put through this. I know that he probably thought in the back of his mind this whole time that he really didn't know what he was doing with Bionicle Revolution, or with Bionicle I should say. He probably knew what he was doing with Revolution, he just didn't really know Bionicle that well. So I apologize for getting angry at him. I'm apologizing for a lot. Just take the apologies, take it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Any questions, put them in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you don't know who I am, if you don't know who any of the other cast members are, thank you for watching this video. We appreciate it. To the Bionicle community, you know, I love you guys. You guys are some of my greatest supporters, and I'll keep making real, original fan content for you. I'm not going to advertise it as official. This is fan content. So with that said, thanks for watching. See you guys later.